We're back. Coach's Corner, episode who knows what now. But we have a special guest. Jonathan or Jay? What do you prefer?
Well, my government name is John.
John, not Jonathan.
John.
See how much little I know?
Don't call me John.
Yeah. But we call him Jaywalk.
Jaywalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, I'm glad to have you. It's going to be quite a bit because there's a lot to talk about. Because the more and more I get to know you, the more and more I learn. And I've known you since 2017, 18, end of 2017, I think.
That's right.
It's been a long while. And came to my gym looking for a spot to run your own business.
That's correct.
Which is what we do. And you were such a nice dude. I couldn't believe that someone was as nice as you are, because I thought in the world I was the only nice person like this. As far as like how nice I was, I was like, he's fake. There's no way this is real, right? And no, you were legit. It took me a while. I was kind of standoffish for the first few weeks.
I remember.
Like, is this guy for real? Is he really this nice? There's no fucking way. This guy's this nice, right? And then you were. So I was like, dude, I really like this guy. So ever since then, I had your back. You've had mine. And then more stories we share. So we're going to try to bring some of that to you guys. So, former NFL, prior to NFL, obviously college was USC.
That's right.
Did work there. He's got some rings on his fingers to show.
Bling.
Yeah, that's nice. And then prior to that, obviously high school, childhood. But from the start, some of the stuff that people don't know because they see you now as this amazing athlete, right? When they see you training here with me, they say, wow, man, he's so athletic and crazy and he can do all this crazy stuff.
Sheesh.
People often think that stuff is God-given versus hard work and dedication, right? I know that from being a competitive athlete that it's dedication and hard work. I wasn't born good at fighting. I had to learn and get good.
You have to develop that.
If we start from the start, what I remember is little Jay was a preemie.
Preemie baby, man.
How big are we talking?
Whoo, big. Couldn't even. No, big is the total opposite of what I was. So just to piggyback off of, your initial intro, it takes, not too many people realize how much pain, how many wars, how much hurt, how much violence it takes to be kind.
Yeah.
You fight so hard all of your life to where all that's left is grace and compassion and love for mankind and for your fellow brother. So it took a lot of pain to become a person that was consciously kind, right? And that pain started from my inception. Mm-hmm. So I was born in a little island, a little city in Honolulu called Wahiawa, Hawaii.
See, I have no idea you were born you're an island boy.
Island boy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's my vibe. Those are my tribes. Those are my kinfolk. Well, I'm a military brat, but I was born a little more than 3.5 months, essentially 4 months premature, right? And so the story has it, my mom had no idea that she was pregnant. This was the 80s, and so you can only imagine what parents did back then.
Yeah.
Right? And so my mom and my father were partying, and they were just living their best life. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, she started to feel sick and found out that she was pregnant. And this was about 4 months pregnant before she actually knew. So within weeks of her finding out that she was pregnant, shortly thereafter, boom, I pop out.
Yeah.
And if you can only imagine that lifestyle, not understanding that you're carrying a life and just doing what you do, that was a very unfit womb mm-hmm. to create and cultivate a healthy child. Mm-hmm. So I was born with a lot of defects, a lot of birth defects. I was born with brain damage. I was born with low functioning heart and respiratory disorder. And without trying to put my mom in a bad light, because I would never do that intentionally, because I believe my birth was a part of her testimony to become a healthier, stronger person. But from my understanding, I was born addicted. Okay, so low brain function, blind, addicted, low heart function, respiratory disorder. And to this day, hate to admit it, but as an athlete, I've always functioned with one primary functioning lung. So
Yeah.
I live my life with one lung. And so that's why I've never wasted time doing things that I shouldn't do. I really protect what I put inside of my body because I was a sick little baby. And over the course of, I guess, 6 months, I was in an incubator, and the doctor was encouraging my mom, listen, this is never going to be a healthy child. This baby, it can't survive this world.
Mhm.
It's blind, low heart rate, so weak. I needed a blood transfusion. We don't know that you should keep this child. And my mom was the first person that ever stood up for me. And so, Mom, I love you for this because she told that doctor, hey, I had no idea I was pregnant. And had I known, I would have done the right things.
Yeah.
But God put this baby inside of me. So this is a miracle child. And if God lets this baby survive this, then he's supposed to be here. So I will give him an opportunity to fight. And so she did. And here we go. 40 years later, I'm strong as ever, functional. Within the first 2 years of life, I developed proper sight. I developed sound and speech. My lungs got strong enough to move and breathe. And now I live my life with a consciousness of every step, every rep, every breath is so valuable to me.
Mm-hmm. See, it's different.
It is.
Damn. So, my next question was: your mom was a faith.
She wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
She was a hippie, and she lived her life. She lived her best life in Hawaii, right, where she met my father, who was stationed there. He was a military guy, and they shortly, once they realized that they had a child, they got married and they started their family. And it didn't last very long, right? The bond, but I've always been connected to both of my parents. But my mom found Christ, or rather, Christ was always there, and he just reminded her through the miracle of my health restoration. He made himself known. Hey, I got you.
Yeah.
And this child will be blessed, and this child is a product of my grace. And so y'all work it out. And that's what I believe. And from that period on, my mother has been a model, like perfect example of a mother's love.
Yeah. That's badass. Good for you. Not everyone has that either.
That's so true.
So, touching on some things we said a second ago, you think being kind is hard work, right? It takes a lot of strength to do that. Do you think some of those things, the reason is because you have to endure most of those things yourself, meaning going through pain, hardship, getting stepped on, right? Life not being great. You go through all those things, so you are extra kind because you don't want those people to go through the same things that you've been through, meaning feel the same way that you felt.
Without a doubt, I think kindness is a heightened level of consciousness and a comfortability with self.
Mm-hmm.
Recognizing that you start from nothing. So I believe I started from nothing, so I'm not stopping for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of the rules that I've given my life is to rack up points. I call them rack points. R-A-K. Random acts of kindness. And I focus on getting 10 a day. And I keep score, Frankie. I've kept score since I could remember, maybe 10 years old.
Damn.
I want to score these heavenly kindness points by being conscious of how I treat and how I interact with others. That is why it is very common to see me randomly stop, engage in a very sincere and thoughtful conversation with someone to let them know that I care about them. Mm-hmm. Although we're strangers, to let them know that they're valued, that they matter, and that I see them.
Yeah.
That is why you will consciously see me pick up trash randomly by your perspective. But me, I'm always tallying up score, like how many points did I get today? You know, and some things I give myself more points for, but I have to do for every single day that I get to grace this earth. Being kind to others and loving others and encouraging people and being my true self, the rawest, realest, authentic version of myself. Raw authenticity, the real jaywalk, the little survivor sick kid who has fought to overcome everything. The way I pay rent to life is by treating others with love and grace that most people don't receive on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I recognize so much, Frankie, that most humans, particularly men above the age of 19, there is no one in their life that consistently tells them that they love them.
Bro, that is like, this is something that I study very much between men because I work with so many of them here, right? So I've picked up countless kids on the side of the street ready to self-delete because either they don't know where they fit in, there's nothing for them, heartbreak, hardship, loss of money, income, job, anything. Right?
Any and everything.
It's amazing, and I understand that every person's life has hardship.
Yes.
Right? Male and female. I get that. But the difference is I think men have it, oh, you're a big, strong dude. It's easy. No. It takes time, effort, energy to become big, strong, competent, right? And you're still fighting men every other day.
Every day.
You're not getting a position because you're a man. You still have to fight every dude on the way up because they're not just going to give you the position.
That's right.
And then you got to fight feminism, all the other modern shit and conveniences that are in place to block that as well, right? So I see that a lot, like a lot, right?
I know, and I see that in you, which is why I felt so connected and kindred with you. When I got the opportunity to spend time with you, I watched you as well.
Yeah, I saw.
I watched you, but I didn't watch from a judgmental standpoint. I watched to learn, because I believe a real true life philosophy that's helped me reach the highest levels of success that I've been able to accomplish is I learn my learner. Mm-hmm. So I knew that you wanted to learn about me. Mm-hmm. I knew you had a consciousness and awareness about who is this guy that I'm letting free reign around my facility, right? Yeah. So because I knew you wanted to learn about me, I had to in turn learn about you. And I call that learning your learner. If you want somebody to learn about you, you got to learn about them as well, equally. Mm-hmm. And then you get this kind of very like symbiotic synergy, this connection where you can find commonality instead of overt competition that's unnecessarily infused in your interactions.
Yeah.
Because as men, I do believe our mission is competition.
Dude, every guy, I don't care what the fuck they tell you, when they walk in a room, you sizing it up, you checking it out. He's 3 punches, he's 2. That's gonna be a tough one.
You size
how do I
dudes,
get out of here? You know what I mean?
You can beat them up.
So, but every guy does it in their own way, right?
Yeah,
Some guys
definitely.
don't go out, period, because they don't want to go. Some guys go out, but they leave early because they don't want the end of the night confrontation.
That's right.
Like, you see a lot of this stuff happen, but no guy can tell you that, because if he does tell you and he's honest, he's a bitch.
It's
right?
true.
So you got to be careful. You can't say that. You look weak.
It's true.
Right? But I notice this, and I see it with men all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Man, hey, let's go out. Man, I don't feel like it. Well, why not? Because they don't know the group you're with. They don't know the people. They feel unsafe.
That's right.
Right? For whatever reason. And I was like that too. You know, before I started competing and fighting, I was
guilty.
I'm an introvert. In this world, people don't see that. Here, it's I'm king, come watch me. Because I'm great at what I do.
Absolutely.
Right? But outside in public, there's a lot of things I suck at, man. I don't want the world seeing me, knowing me, talking to me. I'm quiet. I'm shy. You don't need to know me. Right? That's just who I was as a person growing up.
Right. So
to change.
You're a teddy bear.
Right. I'm still that guy though, right? But I'm both. It's weird. It's like a split.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing, you know, but it's something that you see in dudes and you can recognize it more because I was that dude.
Right away.
So
it's a level of transparency that most men don't want people to be able to see through them, to see their inner workings, their framework, right?
Yeah. Which I don't mind. I think that one thing with you was, I think after like maybe the first week, I remember we were literally at the cable machine and you're like, hey Frank, what's up? How come you said yes? I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Say yes about what? Like, about me being here. I was like, what do you mean? And you told me that you had been to multiple gyms to ask to work there, and multiple gyms shut you down. Yep. And I was like, what the fuck? Why? You know, I don't understand. But then as I saw you work, you were great at what you did, right? You're attentive, hardworking, motivating. When it comes to personal training and fitness and athletics and stuff like that, it's, you have to bond with the trainer. You got to have like this relationship with them to get the best out of you.
For sure.
And you were great at that with the clients that I had seen you with, right? So I understood why maybe other fitness gyms didn't want you there, right? But when you came to me, I'm not a fitness gym, right? I'm a martial arts gym. We're a boutique style. We're different. I have fitness equipment for the martial artists who need it. But, you know, I had told you at that time, I didn't feel competition with you. If anything, I felt stronger. Like, we're going to be like dope. If you need martial arts, you got me. If you need fitness, I got you.
Right.
And the same with you, you know, like, so I didn't have that, like, oh no, I don't want you here because you're going to steal my business. My business is not you. Does that make sense? Right?
Perfect sense.
So I just didn't understand why the gyms wouldn't let you be there.
Well, I did. And I went to 9 gyms before you. I had just recently stepped away from my business, right? And I just needed a change of pace.
Yep.
I legitimately needed just to, right? And I found out about your gym first through some mutual friends. Everyone talked very highly about you. So I always knew it was there, but I was thinking, gosh, you know, is that the type of environment that I think I can actually nurture and cultivate my clientele? I was training youth athletes, professional athletes, from fighters to NFLers to NCAA to Olympic, all sorts of people, right? And I just didn't know if that type of melting pot of clientele would fit in the space that
like
I perceived.
Yeah.
Correct. So I just didn't know. So after getting my door slammed in my face over and over and over and over again over about 4 weeks, I finally said, okay, well, let me see if this guy will give me an opportunity. And for the most part, the other gyms, a handful of them were very upfront. Hey, man, we just don't want you to steal our clients. Like, why would I steal your clients? Hey, man, we don't want your style to contradict what we're teaching. Why would I I mean, if you're teaching true, authentic coaching and fitness and athletic performance, then the truth is the truth.
Yeah, but there's levels to that.
There are
right?
levels.
So your level of, like, I mean, it's the stupidest shit from where I'm doing the thing correctly.
Yeah.
Right? I know I got trained by a really good coach, but then little adjustments. Hey, to your shoulders back, point your toes up. You're like, wait, what? Oh, shit.
It's different.
Right?
Yeah. There are levels.
It's the levels, right? Same thing in
levels.
fighting. I know plenty of guys who teach Thai boxing, and I know plenty of guys who shouldn't be teaching Thai boxing. You know what I mean?
I've run into some of those.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
No, I understand.
So yeah, you're right. So moral is I'm really grateful, man, and I love you unconditionally.
Same.
Yeah, bro.
For sure. So that gets into the personal training piece, and you did that for quite some time.
Quite some time.
But before the personal trainer, you played high-level college football.
Well, actually, I was a coach before a football player. Believe it or not.
Hold up. How the hell did that happen?
All right, let's rewind this thing.
Yeah.
So, sick baby, constant pneumonia, constant trips to the hospital, constant bronchitis, constant asthma attacks, one functioning lung, and I lived in Chicago at this time, freezing cold weather, below zero weather often. So I spent the majority of my childhood in and out of the hospital. Mom says, no sports for you, no athletics, nothing that's going to compromise your immune system. Everything compromised my immune system. I was the boy in the bubble. I just had chocolate bubble wrap around me. Right? I was the boy in the bubble.
Yeah.
And my mom protected me like her precious little weakling, little duckling, right? Forbid me to play sports. She allowed me to try martial arts, but the moment I got hurt, you're done. The moment I did anything with adversity, you're done, right? So it developed a hunger within me to just be better. So by the time I was 5 years old, my father, he was stationed in another country. He was in Germany. He flies home for a little bit of time, maybe a week or two. I can't even remember. But at this point, I think my parents were on the rocks. I never saw them together, put it that way. So dad comes home for a little bit. He says, son, Come on. He took me to a store called Kmart. There aren't too many of those anymore, but
That place was shit back in the
Kmart. And they had a sporting goods store, a section.
Yeah.
And he said, son, pick out any ball you want. So I'm grabbing all these balls and tennis, volleyball, baseball, softball, basketball. And he's like, yeah. Because my dad was 6'8". He was a big dude.
Oh, damn.
And he played semi-pro basketball overseas. So he loved basketball.
Sure.
And I go, yeah. And my little hands couldn't even grab the ball very well. I was still very small. I was a frail kid. And I had just saw this football game replayed of the San Francisco 49ers play the Chicago Bears. So I saw Walter Payton and I saw Jerry Rice. And I saw Joe Montana. And I saw Ronnie Lott. And I go, that's what I want to be. I don't know what it was, but I had this little Spider-Man toy, and this guy, Jerry Rice, reminded me of Spider-Man. He could catch the ball. Everything was sticky to his hands. I was like, that
One
is
hand catches
what I
behind the
want.
back.
I want to be. He's the real-life Spider-Man. He's the real version of this toy that I have. So in the sporting goods store, I see this little football, little Nerf Vortex. It had a little tail on it.
Yeah. The
And it had a
whistle.
whistle. Yes, sir. And I said, Dad, I want this. And my dad said, no, son. No, don't get that. We play basketball. We hoop in our family. We don't do no football. I said, Dad, I want to be like Jerry Rice. So he said, okay, son, get the football. Yes. And then he grabbed the basketball. He said, you're going to get this too, and put it in the cart. I was like, I got two balls. I got two balls. So, yeah. So we get home, and that was the first day that I remember my dad playing catch with me. So he looked me in the face right before we checked out, and he grabbed that little football, and he put his big old hand on top of my head, Frankie. I mean, heavy. And he's a big dude. I'm a little scrawny kid. He had this long index finger, and he's diving it into my heart. Hard.
Yeah.
And he's pressing down on my head, so I feel this pressure.
Yeah.
And he looks me in my eyes. And I'm going to be as blunt as he was. He was like, we're going to get this ball, okay? I said, yes, Dad. He goes, look at me. He says, little nigga, you're going pro. Do you understand? And I feel that pressure, and I can still feel that dent in my heart. And I looked at him. Yes, Dad. He goes, do you understand? I said, yes, Dad. He said, look at me. You're going pro. Okay.
How do you say no to that?
I grew up to be John Walker Pro on Instagram and everything that I do.
Yeah.
So from that day forward, I made a conscious decision to be a pro. I started doing push-ups, sit-ups, everything that I could think of that a pro would do. I wanted to look like my Spider-Man, my Wolverine toy, my X-Men toy. And I turned my body into what I thought that was. Meanwhile, my mom never let me play sports. No sports for you, kid. No. But I'm working in silence. I'm doing everything to the best of my ability to become the version of myself, my future self that I was believing in. I didn't have evidence that I could get there. I just believed full-heartedly that I would. I don't know how. I don't know why. I'm just going to work towards it. I'm going to work towards a goal that I had never had. I was homesick for a place that I had never been.
Yeah.
So I kept working at it. And by the time I became a high schooler, I was this little bitty dude. I developed some speed. I developed some abs and, had a little muscles on me. And I got a speed coach. He taught me sprinting form. And I used that information accompanied with some videos that I used to rent, these 99-cent videos on how to run fast, how to jump, and they had them on cassettes. And I used to rent these cassettes every week and just memorize everything word for word. This is like 1995 through 96, 97, 98. I'm memorizing all this information, building my own coach's repertoire.
Yeah.
So I finally get to run track for the first time. My mom gives me a chance. And the first year I ran track, I got Rookie of the Year. The second year I ran track, I broke the city track and field record for Los Angeles County in the high hurdles. I broke the record. With no hurdle coach, I self-taught everything from those videos and what my coach showed me. And there was a group of parents who saw me always working out by myself, running bleachers, doing these drills, doing all my skips that you've seen me do.
Mm-hmm.
And these parents came over to me. I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? I said, I'm just training. For what? I said, just for life. And they were like, well, can you teach our kids this? No, I'm about 15.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm just doing it for myself. They said, man, we will give you $10 a kid. We have 7 kids. Wait. Say that again. Let me see if my math is mathing right. 7? I'm not too bright at math, you know?
10 times 7 is $70.
So how many days a week? 2 days a week. Mondays and Wednesdays. You train these little track and field kids. Teach them what you're doing. Just let them work out next to you. We will give you $10 a kid for the next 3 months. I said, done. That's when I launched my first coaching business. So I was a coach and trainer before I was ever the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of segued into that. And I was always able to secure income with my coaching acumen, and I kept developing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's badass. Who knew? See, little entrepreneur, 15 years old.
Little entrepreneur.
You lazy fucks. Get off your ass. Do something with your life.
Get on my level.
Damn. Okay. So, high school, track and field.
Track
Did you
and
play
field.
football in high school?
I didn't start football until 11th grade. I was too small. I had to lie and tell my mom. She forbid me now. She let me run track because it was non-contact, right? It was like no real collision.
Yeah.
So my mom said, okay, right? And mind you, this whole time I have to lie on my physicals because if I tell them that I have a heart murmur and I have one lung, dude, they're never going to clear me to play. So I'm carrying this top secret everywhere I go, realizing that I have to work 3, 4, 5, 10 times harder than the average student because they have 2 lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I had 2. Imagine if I had 2. I've often thought about the level of greatness that I still left out there because God had to give them a head start though.
Yep.
Because if he gave me 2 lungs like the average man, y'all wouldn't have had a chance.
Gee.
So I told my mom, I get college credit at this school called Cal State Northridge, CSUN. They will give me college credit if I tutor these kids every day after school all summer long. Just so happens I enrolled myself in summer school so that I had a reason to be on campus every day throughout the week. Soon as summer school ended, I told her that program was giving me credit. I was at football practice, sneaking on the football team, trying out on my own, practicing, learning the plays, where ultimately I started to become a little bit of a baller. And I worked my way up.
What position you started at?
I started as a defensive back and a wide receiver.
Okay, so you did get to be Little Rice.
I
for a little bit.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was already like a street goat. I was a legend on the street because I used to sneak and play football with my friends. And people knew we used to play sideline pop. And bro, there was a day where I got smacked so hard, and there was this like it was a taxi is what it was. It was a taxi cab, but somebody was using it as an everyday driver. And it was parked on the street, and this dude named homie's name was Edgar. Big Edgar, right? He was a fool. He's like, "What's up, fool?" One of those dudes. Big Edgar couldn't play football. All he wanted to do was hit kids. So I'm running with the ball, and he pops me, and I'm about to fly, and man, I don't know what happened. My instincts hit, and I jumped completely over the cab, and I landed on the other side of the cab, and that's when my friends were like, "Yo, you different," and then I realized I am different, and so I knew that there was something inside just. It was being cultivated. It was ready to erupt, right?
Yeah.
And my boys saw me do that, and they would often tell coach, "This kid can play football, coach." And so they gave me a chance, and that's how I made the team the first time. So in 11th grade, 4 games into my first year of football, USC saw me playing an opposing team. Now, this other team that we were playing had a couple of really marquee players that were very good in the local area. Meanwhile, we had a very good kicker. His name was John Wall. Funny enough, John Wall. And he had about 12 50-yard field goals in his career in high school.
Damn.
50-yarders. He also played on the Olympic development team in soccer, so he was a good soccer player that we used as a kicker. USC came to scout him because he was booming them.
Yeah.
I mean, he was our top scorer in high school. We sucked. We weren't very good. But he would score from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
50 yards. So they came to see him play. And this particular game, when they scouted him, that game, I had 13 tackles, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception return for a touchdown.
Damn.
And USC happened to be in the crowd. This is how God works. This is how faith works. This is how favor works. This is how being present and just believing in your opportunity is going to manifest. Because I was just out there playing. I had no idea what was going to happen to me after this game. That was the 4th game of my first year playing. Then I get a call from USC, and I get a letter sent to my coach inviting me to their campus on what's called a junior day. Just so happened I had a 4.0 GPA. I had straight A's at the time. So the school said, hey, for all these high academic students, you guys get to come take a tour of the campus.
Yeah.
Because you may be eligible to come here. So I'm like, sure. My mom was like, sure. I said, see, Mom, all that tutoring I was doing worked.
Yeah.
And I went to the campus. They pulled me out of a group of about 400 kids. I'm literally the only one that looks like me. They all look different. Let's put it that way. They all look different. And I feel super out of place. Like, I don't belong here. But I was amazed. It was the first time I'd ever been on the campus. I went into the trophy room where they showed me all of the great players. I was like, oh, Ronnie Lott came here. Marcus Allen came here. O.J. Simpson came here.
Yeah.
But I realized that they had a legacy that I was unbeknownst to. At almost towards the end of the tour, this raspy voice guy was like, hey, is there a John Walker here? John Walker. And I see this big old dude and I shrink. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know who this is, but I ain't do nothing. He was like, John Walker. And I stood up and I said, man, I didn't steal nothing. I didn't take nothing. Y'all invited me to be here. I thought they was accusing me of stealing because I was in there touching them trophies.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble. They found me out. Dang. And he said, what? I said, sir, I didn't touch, I didn't steal. I just touched. I didn't do nothing. Y'all gave me this paper says I'm supposed to be here. And they're like, yeah. Hey, my name is Ed Ogeron. I'm the defensive coordinator for the football team. Do you have a second? Oh, hi, nice to meet you. So he gives me an excuse slip, takes me around, gives me a private tour of the facilities, private tour of the locker room, everything. I'm seeing everything. He goes, this is called the dungeon. It was a spiral staircase that led to this very cold, drafty room where the lockers were. And when you walk in, it's like, you feel the draft. And I can remember those goosebumps surging through my body and that smell of kind of like sour milk and success. The sweat that all the athletes were down there, the training room, everything was down there. And he takes me into the locker room and I'm now in the USC football locker room for the first time. And he gives me this little index card. It's got 3 numbers on it. I twist the letters. It's a locker combo. I open up the locker, lift up the lid, and it's a USC jersey with my high school jersey number on it, number 8. And there's press clippings from the LA Times and all the press clippings that I had never seen before. I'd never seen these clippings. I wasn't looking at newspapers about my stats, but apparently for weeks, I was leading the county, leading the nation, leading the state in all these statistical categories I had no idea about because I had never played football before. I was like a top 5, top 10 player. And he goes, you recognize this? I'm like, whoa, that's me.
Yeah.
Right? There's gloves and wristbands and all this stuff. And he says, try that jersey on. I put it on and I was like, yeah. It was so big. I was still a scrawny kid. And he goes, looks good on you. I said, yeah, it feels good. And he said, okay. He said, all right, throw that stuff down and let me show you something else. So we hop on a golf cart and we drive to the Coliseum. We go into the Coliseum where I get to go down the tunnel for the first time, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And he says, this is the tunnel. This is where we walk down every home game. We get down to the field and I touch the grass for the first time. And I'm in the Coliseum. And I see this endless sea of chairs and lights and everything that you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm starting to get this flashback of my dad pressing my head down and my mom, son, don't do it. So I have these conflicting emotions that's happening. And then he goes, look up there and the big screen. And then there's these highlights that show up and I'm watching and he goes, check out this player. We like this guy a lot. And it's my highlights. My high school coach, I guess, sent them a highlight tape of me, unbeknownst to me. And I see these highlights, and there's this one catch I made with one arm in the back of the end zone. I catch the ball, and I stab one foot down, and I fall. And then when I pop up, I look at the ref and I pointed, call it. And he said, touchdown. And I said, my dude. And I threw him the ball, and I ran over to my teammates, and I was like, ah. And then my coach, who ended up being my coach, Odron, said, that's the type of player that we like to see wear the cardinal and gold and can play football here on Saturdays. And I was like, wow. He said, okay, let's get out of here. And now I'm realizing, what is happening? Are these dudes recruiting me?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm still just oblivious, bro. Yeah. I'm oblivious. They take me to meet the head football coach. To make a long story short, I sat down in that coach's office. He introduced himself. He said, hi, my name is Paul Hackett. This is before Coach Pete Carroll got there. He said, do you know what this is? He held a packet. I said, no, sir. He said, this is a full scholarship to the University of Southern California football team. We'd like to offer you a full athletic scholarship to play football here. How does that sound? What? We want you to be a Trojan. How does that sound? 4 games. Where do I sign?
Yeah.
He goes, you can't sign now, but if you take your verbal commitment, we honor that and we lock it in stone. It'll be etched in stone. And I said, I accept and I commit. Mm-hmm. Shook his hand right then and there, ran out. Then my mom and my sister were there. They were kind of hanging around. And I said, Mom, I just got a full scholarship to USC. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Yep. So Mom's ability to let me compete is how I got there. But let me tell you, the first game that I played, my cousin accidentally spilled the beans and told my mom that I had a football game. Mind you, I went all summer long without my mom knowing that I was at football practice, getting better. I would come home and she was like, boy, why are you so black? She's like, your skin just getting blacker and blacker. I was like, oh, Mom, well, the place where I train or the place where I teach these kids is in the bungalows. There's no shade.
Yeah.
And so I'm just in the sun. Meanwhile, I'm at football practice every day, right? Getting darker in the sun. Getting bigger and stronger as well. So the first game, I set up an alibi, told my mom I was spending the night at my boy's house, which was true. His mom confirmed it. But they didn't know that I wasn't allowed to play football. So I'm back there at this away game, about to take the opening kickoff. I'm starting for the first time, and my cousin accidentally spills the beans, Frankie, and tells my mom that I have a game. Mm-hmm. She's like, are you going to John John's game? What game? So, boom. My mom meets me at the game. I'm about to catch this opening kick, and I see my mom, and she's screaming at me on the other side of the fence, John Walker! And she got this steam and fire coming out of her nose, bro. I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. My teammates were looking like, John, yo, mama, bro, you about to get a whooping. You about to get a whooping. And my coach knew I wasn't allowed on the team, so he's like about to call timeout before the game even started. He's like, are you done? Are you gonna play? And I was like, guys, I gotta go. I took my helmet, unstrapped, and was about to leave. She was like, come here. And I started walking, and then she looked, and I was like, and she jumped on the fence and leaned over. She was like, you better run. You better run, boy. And I said, here? She goes, run! I ran back on the field, Frankie. Got that kickoff. Boom, 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 boom. Got twisted up like a pretzel, bro. But that was the beginning of my football career. And so her faith allowed me to be here today.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, man. A lot of fighting that helped develop a lot of fortitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to go through some shit.
Yep. After that, we won 2 national championships in college. I double majored. First degree was in biokinesiology. I continued my education in sports science, which I had a passion for. I always knew I was going to coach. And then I got my second degree in communications because I wanted to be able to clearly articulate my thoughts and teach others how to be the best versions of themselves. I've always been a person, a man on a mission to help others see the strengths within themselves that they may not have been able to see on their own.
Yeah.
The same inner strength that I had to learn about my own self. And I've always been intrinsically connected with my mission and my purpose in life.
Okay.
Yep.
Which leads us next from USC, doing your damn thing.
To the NFL.
Got a couple rings.
Boom.
And then we go... Did you go straight to the NFL or the league right below?
Straight to the NFL.
Straight to the NFL.
Straight to the NFL. So the 2006 NFL draft, the Houston Texans called me up. I didn't get drafted. I went in as a free agent, worked my butt off that whole spring, that whole summer. There was like 200 people. I don't know. It felt like that at least. And every day they were just cutting dudes. Boom, boom. And every day I kept making that cut. I just kept seeing guys leaving the locker room, new dudes coming in, shuffling around. That felt like an 8-month process, but...
So I want to touch on that.
Yeah.
We see the NFL and we see the star players that get drafted number 1, number 2, how many picks are there in the draft? Does each team get?
Each team gets roughly 7 to 8 picks, depending on if they trade for picks. Okay. 7 to 8, maybe 9 if they...
How many players are in each team?
There's 53 on an active roster, and then there's about another 12 to 15 or so, like other players, so practice, injury reserve, right. Somewhere around 70.
60 to 70 people.
I could be wrong, right. But it's been a while.
On average, let's just say, for you numbers people, just calm down.
Right.
Now you have 10% are drafted. That means the other 90% are either hardworking free agents or just kids that bust their ass.
A bunch of guys like me.
Right. How is it hard to not be drafted? Is that like being the last kid picked on a fucking like a kickball team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does it feel that way?
Yeah, you don't get the same privileges as others. The team treats you like a pro, but the drafted players get a certain level of grace, a certain level of favoritism, because those drafted players have to qualify that coach as being a competent recruiter. Those drafted players have to create the job security for the general management, for the athletic directors, for everyone, because they are investing money from the team, from the franchise, to bring these players in.
So politics follow just like fighting.
Absolutely. In a major way, because this coach is banking on you keeping their job security. This general director, this GM is saying, I'm trusting you to play well enough to make me continue to look like a competent leader.
Damn.
So those players get every single chance, more than what anyone else will get.
So then when you're out there, you're seeing people next to you fighting for the same position.
Yep.
And you're seeing people cut every day.
Every single day. Every single Tuesday, my entire rookie year, they brought in a group of 7 to 8 defensive backs, because I played DB in the NFL, free safety and corner. They brought in 7 to 9, I believe Coach told me. Different guys, free agents, traded players, cut players, players who are hurt, who are now healthy and available, players who are just want to try out, players who somehow their agent negotiated them to get a workout with the Texans, because I played for the Houston Texans. They brought in 7 minimum dudes every Tuesday, and they practice those guys right next to you so you can see the people who might take your locker after practice.
So competition anxiety is a motherfucker.
Only if you weak-minded, my mission was competition. So when I saw those dudes come in and they had the body type like me and and they looked rangy like me and they wore a jersey number that reflected the position, I already knew. And I showed them love. I fist bumped them. Most of them had an edge. Most of them were chippy. You know, you see just a new dude in the team dining room. You show up to work and you see 4 or 5 new guys sitting and eating freaking cream of wheat and you know, bacon, eggs, and cheese. And I'm thinking, oh, these dudes are here to try to take somebody's job. And very often they would. Because at the end of those practices, you would walk back into the locker and see your equipment, your personal belongings in a giant, hefty trash bag with a zip tie on it, with a piece of duct tape with your name and former jersey number on it. You would see a new name with your jersey number on it and somebody else's stuff in your locker.
Damn.
And there's a dude who's one of the nicest, meanest dudes on the team that works for the company, the whatever franchise. We call him the X-Man, the executioner. He would be standing by your locker. And he'd be like, come on over here. He'd be like, so-and-so, coach wants to talk to you. Take up your playbook. You knew. That guy that was once your teammate that you've been fighting with for weeks and weeks, he gone. And there's some other dude that took his lunch money.
Damn.
That's how
I've heard
vicious
that before
it was.
too.
That's how vicious it is.
People say, take your playbook. You guys actually all the players get the playbook.
Yeah, because the playbook is the intellectual property of the team. If you take that playbook, you are subject to many fines and many litigation issues.
Damn.
Because that's their entire secret sauce to their, it's their game plan.
Yeah.
That's right.
Damn, that's crazy.
And the playbooks are dense, and you have to take it, and they audit them. They take every note. They take everything they take every notebook. They destroy it. You're done.
Sheesh.
Yep.
So how long did you stay with the Texans?
So I was with the Texans for a combined 2.5, almost 3 seasons. And the reason is I spent my first year playing for the Texans, and then that very same year they sent me to NFL Europe to continue to develop. By the end of my rookie year, I had fully earned my position on the field, and they were like, dude, we should have been playing you sooner. You've worked so hard that we should have put you in these games sooner. We don't want you to stop your game progression at the end of the season, and instead we're going to send you to NFL Europe, and you then will continue to grow and learn how to be an NFL caliber player. So when you come back, we think you'll be 1 or 2 on our depth chart. That's what they told me.
Yep.
I went down there to Europe, balled my butt out. We won a world championship out there in Hamburg, Germany. We balled out. Some of the systems that they ran were similar to what we ran with the Texans. I ended up being the first pick of the NFL Europe draft that year.
Nice.
I was the first pick, which was crazy. Because how NFL Europe works, every team gets to pick a quarterback first. Every team gets a quarterback assigned to them, basically. That's how you build your franchise. And then after that, teams get to pick players. So I was the first pick of the second round, which was the first pick of the NFL Europe draft. And I went down to the team and we balled out. When I came back, I was broken because that was 3 back-to-back seasons in 1 year.
Damn.
From college, we finished USC, and in the national championship game against Texas, we lost that game. And then just a few weeks later, NFL training camp. All of that. Then 2 weeks after the NFL season, they sent me to Europe to go to Europe to go into another training camp. So I played 3 condensed seasons within a year. And then came back for my sophomore year in the NFL training camp. And bro, the body just... So I condensed 3 seasons. That's why I say I played 3 seasons with the Texans, basically. 2.5 seasons with the Texans, I will really call it.
And if I remember correctly from the start, it was your knee that got shot out.
Knee, ankle, a lot of other things. Head. Yeah. I don't like to talk about it, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, it's hard.
Yeah.
Leaving something like that, like retiring from Thai boxing for me was probably the hardest thing in the world to do. Because I always said I had one more fight, just one more fight, just one more.
Yep.
And then trying to train for that one more after so much abuse on the body, it doesn't recover the same.
No.
So how hard was that?
It was very hard. I fell into depression. I fell into a lot of issues because my identity was wrapped around being a pro. Right? So when I was no longer playing professional football, when I left the Texans and they cut me with a knee injury. They cut me with some other issues. But most importantly, man, they cut my confidence down as a man because I still knew that I was a baller. I just needed to get healthy. And the reason I was hurt is because I was almost forced to play these back-to-back-to-back seasons with no recovery, right? That was a pretty superhuman thing to do.
Yeah.
You need 6-7 months off of football to recover. And I played through broken bones for 3 years, right? So I was thinking that they would give me grace, but they just cut me because when I played in the NFL, it was during a recession. It was that 2006 through 2009 when contracts weren't protected. Your contract was not sheltered. There was no real strong collective bargaining agreement with the players. The NFL Players Association were struggling. There was no money. The crowds weren't in the stadiums. Contracts were at an all-time low. The league minimums were what everybody got at a maximum. And the league was hurting because we were in an economic recession, right? And this was like the banks crashed, everything, if you guys know about that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that the NFL was so much harder for guys like me because we were in an economic downturn.
Sure.
And nothing was safe. So when I left the NFL, I was broke, no money, because I had no financial literacy. I had no wealth management ability. I thought my money was going to last forever, not realizing that you only get paid for like the 3 months or so that you're in season, and you'd make no money the rest of the year. $0 unless you have other enterprises,
Endorsements,
other
certain
entities.
things,
And
yeah.
I wasn't like a star player in the NFL. Heck, I was barely in the NFL. I spent majority of my time on the practice squad just fighting to stay relevant, fighting to keep a pulse, right?
Yeah.
And so when I got cut, I was injured. I was broken physically. I was broken mentally and emotionally, and I was broken financially. And I was newly married. So I had to take all that brokenness and drive back from Houston all the way to California with a bum knee, with a broken heart and a broken head, a broken spirit, and a broken bank account. And when I got to California, my mom allowed me to stay. My mom let me stay at her house that I promised I would never live in again. She let me stay there for a month, and I realized I couldn't do that. Because I was walking around the neighborhood and I saw people that I used to see when I was younger. And they was like, "What you doing back, Jaywalk?" "Oh, I thought you was in the NFL, cuz." "Hey, old homie, I thought you was big bread. I thought you was in the NFL. What happened, fool? You didn't make it? You got cut."
Isn't it crazy how people want to see you come from nothing and cheer you on?
Listen, man.
And when you make it, they're the first people to tell you, "I told you so," or "Good, you didn't make it," because they couldn't.
Remember that kid I told you, Edgar? Sideline pop?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of those dudes like, "Oh, what's up, Eshe? Oh, what you doing back, homie?
Couldn't cut it.
Yo, you didn't make it, fool? Oh, okay." So I'm this guy that worked through all this emotional hardship throughout my whole life. Fighting, believing, praying, overcoming, pushing through every level of self-doubt, plus a parent who didn't support my dream. I'm going to underplay how much my mother conflicted with me for being an athlete.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into that. But she did not support me playing sports at all. But I could never expect my mom to ever see eye to eye with me over my life goals. She could never see eye to eye with me because God didn't give her my vision. He gave that vision for me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I pushed through. But thinking about going back to that house with a woman who I believe secretly didn't support what I was doing, it was too much for me. So I and my wife, in that little bedroom, we decided to leave and we moved. We moved to Long Beach where my wife lived, which her family was. And we slept on her uncle's couch, who became my uncle through marriage. And after that, we slept on his floor in his garage, C.T. Fletcher.
My dude, Uncle CT.
Uncle C.T.
What a crazy small world.
Uncle C.T., I will forever love you, Auntie B, Uncle C.T., for taking in this kid who married your niece with the promise that I would provide and protect for her. And I was broke. bro. I couldn't afford the 39-cent noodles that we ate every day. Thank you. Thank you for just believing in my future self, because what I showed you was broken, and you breathed life into me and let me sleep on your floor until I was able to stand on my own again. Much love, and I will always cherish you for that.
It's hard.
Yeah, it didn't come easy. Success does leave breadcrumbs. Success does give hints. It leaves clues on how to get there. But I believe that I was an epic failure because I was the guy that made it out the hood, the worst hardships you can imagine, getting to the place where I was the best in the world at what I was doing, and then having to go back to where you came from, to the bottom of the map, and start over, and then try to justify why you're still successful. Try to convince people to still believe in you.
Yeah.
Well, I had to learn how to believe in the future version of myself. So I just reconditioned my mind. I worked hard to develop relationships and mentors, and I started to use my USC education, and I found the right types of people to help me understand what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've been able to start from nothing again, ground zero, and build a multiple 7-figure industry leading business.
Yeah.
Through real estate, through financial literacy, through wealth management,
Mm-hmm.
through personal development coaching, through athletic performance coaching. Now I am a human performance life coach that helps people figure out exactly how to fund their lifestyle with their intellectual property and with their gifts that they can bring into the world. The goal is now to help people bring those gifts to the forefront of the world, help them package it in a nice, concise way, and then monetize it and scale it over and over again so that they can bust through the shackles of poverty, so that they can kick down the front door of stress and financial strangleholds. Now we help people win.
Yeah. So money doesn't buy happiness. It's not something you buy into.
Money does not buy happiness, but money allows you to buy the things that make you happy.
Yeah. I don't believe that shit either. That's some stupid ass shit.
Money
if you've
can't-
ever been broke,
No.
trust me, man. Money is happy.
Money makes you smile, because then money gives you the framework to help the people who depend on you.
Yeah. Money means freedom. It's just freedom.
It
More than
does.
anything.
It gives you the ability to say yes to anything. It gives you the ability to say, yeah, we could do that.
Yep.
Hey, daddy, because I have 2 daughters. Hey, dad, can I have this? I don't want to tell my daughters no because I can't afford it, or give them an excuse on why they shouldn't get it because I secretly know that I can't afford it. The goal now is to teach people in a very short, timely window, 6 months or so. I want to teach people what took me over 20 years to learn.
Yeah.
Right? I had to work my face off the hard way, boots on ground, getting mentorships, people who had the level of financial security, the financial freedom that I was dreaming for, to give me the knowledge that I can now share to the general public.
Yeah.
And so, yes, baby, we can get that Lambo. Yes, we could take that trip. Yes, we could buy those real estate properties that we leverage over and over again to make more passive streams of income.
Yeah.
That is the goal. And so now that I understand how wealthy people make moves, how wealthy people use the legal system provided for them to keep stacking chips, adding bread to the table, I feel like I do have a moral and ethical duty to teach people this information in a very honest, coherent way that's scalable, that's in the level of doses where they really get it and can intrinsically connect to, oh, this is how I make these moves. That's why I'm Coach J-Walk. That's why, I'm now like your business consultant, wealth management coach, right?
Right. But see, I follow you on social media, obviously still, because we don't work in the same building anymore.
Right.
So I follow your life like everybody does through a bird's view, right?
Yes.
And what I see is constant change. And it's always changed for the better. Went from this to this to this to this. And I'm just like, damn, right? This is crazy, right? So my secret is, how do I learn this without, because most of these get rich quick schemes that I see, it's a fucking pyramid thing and it's all bullshit and I don't fall for it and I don't like it.
That's right.
But I know you personally, right? And I know your integrity and what kind of guy you are. And I know how you work with people. I've seen you do it, right? So when I see your stuff on social media, I was like, man, I want to get him in here, sit with him and talk to him. So A, I can take away some nuggets and learn for myself, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm learning business. I'm a great fighter. I'm not a great business person. I've admitted this multiple times to my original investors. I'm here to learn. I found people smarter than me living the lifestyle I wanted to learn how to do it for myself instead of just being the guy who was sleeping under the ring or next to the ring, right? So if I knew someone who was doing it, pull them in, talk to them and see, what information do we have? How do we share it? And how do you learn, right? So if that's a system and a thing that you have structured, right? That's something people should know because it comes from a credible source, right? It's not, some dude on.
Yeah, it's not, and thank you for sharing that. So I don't believe in get rich quick. That's not how it worked for me. Like I said, it was 20 years of congregated mentorship from credible sources.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go and prove to these people who I admired and aspired to be like, I had to prove that I was worth their time and their investment
100%.
of energy. And so that also took finances. I had to physically pay to invest in the coaching that I believed I needed to understand so that I could articulate it, right? And with regards to growing, it takes pain to grow. And when you're hurting, you have to, and I was hurting, Frankie. And you have to allow that pain to push you. When you're hurt, you don't stand still mostly. And if you do, you're probably going to continue to endure that pain.
Yeah.
When you hurt, you shouldn't turtle up and shell up and go into fetal position and stay stuck in the middle of that fire. You're going to burn to death.
Yeah.
So the goal is to allow that pain to push you forward. So that's why you've constantly seen growth, constant forward movement, constant progression, because I believe I'm in a state of my life where I was hungry at one point. Now I'm starving. And so I've graduated from hungry to greedy. And I've allowed that pain to push me. And push is an acronym I use. Persevere until success happens. So if I can loan people my mindset, the same mindset that my mentors helped infuse in me, now I can actually continue my life goal of racking up points.
Yeah.
So that's why I've created this coaching portal to teach people this business acumen. Because most people, if they're like me, you believe that you're supposed to go to school, get a degree, and you graduate, you make this money, and then you get a job that pays you enough money to be wealthy or rich. When that couldn't be further from the truth.
Fuck no, you're just above the poverty line.
The thing about it is, when you get that degree, then you have to go and prove your worth against the whatever market you're in, whatever your focus or goals are. You have to earn, and usually you're starting at the lowest point in the totem pole. You're behind, in debt, because you had to probably take out a loan. Thank God I was blessed enough to get a scholarship to play football and my education was paid for, but I had sweat equity. I had to pay with the broken bones, the surgeries, all of it, bro, right? But most people really are so far in debt when they finish school that they can't even think straight. And they don't even have the access to use their degrees the correct way. And they get whatever quick paying job that they can just to take off some of them financial pressure.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're watching social media all the time. You're watching other people show their glorious lifestyles. And then you're thinking, dang, I got a degree. Why am I not winning like they are? So now you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're chasing the mill. You're on the hamster mill, rather. And you're running after this goal that seems within sight, but so far out of reach. And now you have FOMO. Fear of missing out on what other people are posting on their social platforms, showing them living their best life.
Yeah.
Right? Because, just think about how many people, let's go politicians, for example. They go into Congress, most of them in debt, most of them struggling because they still haven't even paid off their student loans from years ago, right? Let's call Nancy Pelosi, for example. She went in, with a salary of like 100-something grand. Nothing too big. But she leaves office with over $200 million in net worth now. How do you start with nothing and make that much money? The truth is because when you're in that circle and you're hanging out with other wealthy people who know how to use the system, how to legally use the system to give you the cheat codes, how to essentially inside trade resources to help you make more bread, that's how these people grow. And when I got my wealth coach and my financial coach and my business strategy coaches to teach me what the wealthiest people do on how they rarely pay taxes, how they use and leverage their debt to make more passive forms of income, how they use business credit and other business entities to secure more funding for bigger projects that help them grow and accumulate massive income streams and other wealth developing products. I said, oh my gosh, what have I been doing my whole life? And this light bulb clicked. Now I have a duty. I am not about to keep this a secret. I'm going to teach it to my people. I'm going to teach it to everybody who has a heart that's willing to learn something new and has the awareness that their life can be better and who doesn't mind investing. Because anything that's super free is not worth holding on to. You got to earn it. No burn, no earn. And you got to earn to burn what you need in your life. And so now I'm launching my coaches portal. I'm launching my program where I'm going to teach the common person how to build a 6-7 figure income stream. We're going to teach you how to acquire funding. We're going to teach you how to clean up your credit. We're going to teach you how to make the moves that the wealthiest people make, and they're keeping it a secret. They are monopolizing this information. They don't teach it in our schools, guys. You're not learning this in your econ class. You're not learning this in the structured time that you have to legally be at school. They're teaching you how to be a factory worker. They're teaching you how to take orders from others and make wealthy people more money. Stop making rich people more rich. It's time for you to be on the receiving end of some of those zeros and decimals. And now I'm launching this to the world.
Yeah. But the key part is, people have to pay to invest. Like,
that's right.
I think people constantly have a thing where if, this and it can help you, it has to be free. But dude, I got my ass beat. You know how many times I had a bloody nose, a fat lip, a fucked up leg?
Sheesh.
I couldn't walk, but you want me to train you what I learned for free. What the hell? I had to take the hard way. You have to pay. I'm expensive, right?
That's right.
But I'm expensive because I'm good at what I do.
That's right.
That's why I charge you, but that's why you're here, right? So,
yeah.
If
anything that's worth value to you is something that you should have a heart to pour into. You can't be like the giving tree where you're just plucking away, and then eventually there's nothing left.
Yeah.
So when you invest and you pour into yourself, you feel more proud and you feel more intrinsically connected to the process. You're willing to take coaching. You're willing to take in the value because you know you've had to work hard and you've paid someone that you respect, trust, and are open to learn from. You've paid them what they deserve for their business acumen or their insights, their industry insights and the tools, the strategies, the tricks of the trade. You've paid them, and now you are a receptive learner because you value it. You had to work hard to get to the point where you can get educated.
Yeah.
And that's literally the fundamental rule of success. You have to pay to play.
Right.
And that's just the game.
And then you said a word earlier. You said a word greedy, right? Like I'm greedy for more.
Yeah.
I think people hear that word and it has like a negative connotation, like it's not good. And I think that's stupid, right? You have to be. You have to want more. It doesn't mean because I want more, I'm going to shit on you.
Right.
It just means I want more. And if I get more, guess what? My team comes with me, right? If I'm the leader, I'm going to reach out and tell you to come on. But if you can't reach, that's on you.
The whole team needs to win. That's right.
One of my buddies is a good friend of mine. He was one of the original 6 of Google. Okay.
Wow.
Extremely wealthy. Like jets, the whole nine, you know? I used to train him at his house, right? So I'd drive to him, right? Because he could afford it.
Yeah.
So I'm training him and just
Yeah.
to the beach and thinking, I'm like, damn, man. And I see his desk and it's nothing but a mess. It's like organized chaos.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm looking at his desk going, damn, man. Question. You don't have to work. Your kids don't have to work, and their kids ain't ever got to work. You got generational wealth, which is different,
Yeah.
right? That's a different type of wealth.
Yeah.
Why is your desk a mess? Why do you still work? Like, I don't get it. Most people don't want to work or do shit. Why are you working? I just want to know.
Right.
And he's like, you know what, Frank? He's like, it comes a point when you buy things, it's not about that. Now it's personal. He's like, for me, my motivation is the number. He's like, me and my group, how we roll, you'll never even know their names.
Wow.
They won't look familiar to you. He's like, but they got more money than any of these dudes on social media. He's like, so now it's just competition. If mine's 1.45, I want 1.46. And if there's 1.46, I want 1.47. I was like, damn, man, y'all move different. Like, so his motivation is just the number at some point, right? But it's still enough to drive him to get out of the silk sheets, get out of your beautiful house and on your jet and do shit and make more. Just there's always more, right?
I love that.
And I don't find anything wrong with that. I think that's awesome, right?
I love
because
that.
it shows everyone else around you just because you're making it, you got to keep going. Still strive for more. Don't ever take your foot off the gas, right?
All gas, no brakes.
I mean, I've had that problem.
All gas, no brakes. I hear that. That's crazy. You know, a lot of people do struggle with complacency.
Yeah.
And that's why you kind of have to have big vision mindset. Like, you have to broaden your perspective on what you believe is perceivable for yourself, what you believe you can achieve. So the reason why I think some of the most high level earners reach the altitudes of success that they do is because they have the most remarkable imaginations. They can tell themselves the most fantastic stories about what they deserve. And when you align your mind with something that you really care about so much and believe it's destined to you, then you can develop the fortitude and the wherewithal to recognize the strategies and the steps you need to achieve that thing that you're focusing on. So you actually recognize the strength and the power of finding a mentor or finding leadership or finding skilled people who can help you develop the areas that you're not efficient in, to help you bridge the gap between where you are and where you dream you can be. And so that's where I come in. I want to be the bridge that connects the dots between who you are today and where your true potential lives. And we can do that together. It takes a team. It takes honesty. It takes transparency, openness. I call it keeping it hot. You have to be honest, open, and transparent about the results and the goals that you are striving for. And you have to invest. And that's the best way, because when you are successful, I'm successful. And we share in that. All right? Like, imagine if I can teach you or get you funding, right? Imagine if I can help you fund your business at 0% interest for 1 year. And I can help you, I don't know, accumulate 100K, 200K. Full funding with business credit. Then you can take that credit and make all the moves that you desire to grow your business, to create and produce other profit flowing entities. And then before that year is up, the equity that you've developed from the businesses that you created, you can cash out. You can literally take cash and you can pay that debt back before the interest hits at 0 interest. And now you can take that money and all that equity and all that cash flow and do other things to build other cash producing enterprises.
Yeah.
Now, if I can teach you that in a very tangible, trackable, scalable way that matches your skill set as a human, connected to something that you're passionate about, and give you the bandwidth and the emotional fortitude to run this thing cleanly, legally, above board, and then you rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Now you know what the wealthiest people know, and you have the movement ability to say yes in life, and then your appetite grows. And now you're at an all-you-could-eat buffet for success, and you just want to keep eating. You want to keep feasting because your table's bigger, and then you can feed more people. You can invite more people to join you.
Right.
That's what this is about.
Sheesh. And when's your page go live? Is it live now?
My page will go live. So today is October, 17th?
I think so.
October, whenever. We're in the middle of October. We will be fully live.
18th.
We will be fully live by my standard within a week's time. It will be coachjaywalk.com, where you can reach out to me. On that site, I'll offer some insights on how we do things or how you can do things. I have a couple of freebies for those who really want to learn this process. But for the most part, you get access to me. You get access to the information that has taken me over 20 years to accumulate through the remarkable blood, sweat, tears, and trauma. All of the failures, all of the roadblocks that I've hit. I'm going to excavate your pathway for you to give you the clearest, smoothest road towards your financial freedom and your liberation. And we're going to do it honestly, and we're going to do it together.
Dope. So you'll have a link on your Instagram, like to your website?
That's correct.
Because if you don't have a website yet, but I can put your Instagram link in the description below so you know where to click and find them.
That's right.
Right?
And that's John Walker Pro on IG.
Yeah, I'll put the link there.
That's right.
You know, when someone else has to do it all, it's kind of like cars, right? You like, secret isn't. I like new stuff now because you can lease it and then you have write-offs and all the fun stuff. But
That's right.
I didn't know shit about that.
That's right.
Prior because, you know, I didn't know until I hung out with rich people and they were like, what the hell are you buying a car for? Stupid. Lower the payment. I'm like, what do you mean? Then I'll lease it, idiot. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
They're like, you going to keep the car for 5 years? I was like, no, I've had like 18 cars.
Yep.
Right? I don't ever keep them. So
Yep.
why am I keep kicking myself in the ass? And then you realize, oh, man, damn, I'm retarded.
Yeah, why am I doing that?
And that's one small area, right?
It's so true.
Versus all the other things you can do as a business owner.
So yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying, particularly about your vehicles. Like, so I rolled up in a Ferrari today.
Yeah.
F8, right? And we got a G-Wagon in the fleet. We got a Lambo on deck. Bro, you think I bought all those vehicles with cash? Not mine, at least.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not paying to drive those amazing vehicles. Guess what? The strategies and the tools that I teach you will give you the access to get vehicles like that. And all of the money that you would spend to own those types of vehicles, now you can write that money off and you're driving that car for free. That car is paying you, right? That's what wealthy people know.
Because it becomes an asset instead
Becomes
of
an asset.
Yeah.
It's a part of your business. And so that's all tax write-offable insight that you learn in my program.
right. And that's what people see, like on my social media, right? We had a couple of hardships here and there, but people see a nice car parked outside. Oh, fucking things right. Like everything's great for you. But like, no, man, there's just certain ways that you can make things work and other ways that just,
That's right.
you figure it out.
It's so true. Like, I used to buy all of my cars outright, and I didn't realize how fundamentally ignorant that was, right? As much moving and grooving that I do in my life, being a real estate professional, you know, being a licensed financial consultant, financial advisor, and now being a business and wealth management consultant and strategist, like, you have to be able to write off the tools that you use to be successful in your business. And having the high-end exotic vehicles, that's a part of the brand.
Yeah.
But I don't want to own all those cars. I don't want all that overhead. I truly don't. I want to enjoy it. I want to use all of the benefits without having any of the added pressure or stress or responsibility and the burden of being, you know, that high level earner. I can write this stuff off. And that's what makes this beautiful when you understand how it works. You still have to be responsible and diligent about how you take care of your business. And you don't lie. You always operate with integrity. You always operate with honesty. But you just do things the right way, the way the wealthiest of wealthy in this country and around the world do it. And in my coaching program, you do learn all that.
Yeah. I think that's part of the problem is that a lot of people see that stuff as negative or bad or that it's
Right.
not. It's just the rules that are set that everybody else uses.
That's good. Everybody
care.
who knows.
Right, but what I'm saying is like it doesn't matter what right and left, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. They're all doing the same shit.
That's right.
Right? They're going to use their money to make money and they're going to do the best they can not to pay out as much as they can to write off whatever they can.
That's it.
But it takes a while to learn this stuff and it's scary. I get it, but
Yeah. No more secrets, man. I want to teach you those secrets. And because when I learned them, my life has exponentially grown, guys. For those of you who do know me and who've have been connected with me, you know how hard I've worked. You know how hard I've hustled, man. You know. And for those who don't know me, I've worked at I don't even know if I can say this, but I've worked at a suicide pace in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked at a pace that would end most people.
I get told that quite often.
And each day I would wake up thinking, okay, today might be a nice day to finally be free of the pressure,
Yeah.
of the expectations that I have for myself. And when it all finally came together over the last year and a half or so, when you guys have seen me kind of disappear from social media, when I've been just kind of in the back cave, cooking up the recipe, writing my ebook, creating all of the assets, building all the back office work, making sure the information is so structured and perfectly sound and ready for you guys to just plug and play. Making sure I'm sharpening my tools and my spirit so that I can lead the correct way. Now that I'm in a place of fullness and completion, I'm in a place of, I'm here, man. I'm ready to teach. I'm ready to show you. And it's time for you guys to have access to what I now know, which is how to win and be successful in the financial world.
Hell yeah. I dig it.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So a couple quick fire questions. I always do a fire round.
Let's go.
At the
I'm
end.
ready.
And you can answer, say pass. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. Okay? Always some just fun shit.
I got it. Let me get ready. I'm going to get ready for this.
All right.
All right, let's go.
So for those of you guys who don't know, he also used to coach world-class athletes, especially in mixed martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
I go to fighting because that's my world. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Favorite athlete to train?
Ooh. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's impossible.
I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to not like
No,
anybody.
no. My favorite athlete to train. Wow, there's so many. I can't because they've all given so much.
Okay, how about the favorite
Favorite
sport to coach?
Favorite sport to coach. Mixed martial arts.
That's the favorite one. Badass.
Mixed martial arts.
Okay, I dig it. How about this? Hardest person to train
Hardest
from
person
any
to-
sport.
Hardest person to train for me could be a two-way tie between Tony Ferguson,
Mhm.
former UFC lightweight champion, and Uriah Hall.
Mm.
And I only say that is because they're both so extremely talented and athletic that you have to be exponentially sharp to give them enough variation and energy manipulation for them to get a fraction of a percentage faster, stronger, more explosive, better. They're so talented and fine-tuned
Yeah.
that you have to be surgical with what you're coaching for them to have like translatable growth.
Yeah, I don't know Tony personally, but I know Uriah. And
They're
he's
both
amazing. He's a
both
great dude.
geniuses.
Yeah.
They're both geniuses. Yeah.
He's a goat. That's funny. And now that you're getting into them, favorite car brand?
Oh man, my whole life it was a Lamborghini Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a Lamborghini Urus.
You like the Urus?
I love it because I'm bigger now. I'm a bigger guy. I walk around at 235, 240, and I'm six, almost 6'2". So I need something that I can fit in.
Got some stout.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Definitely a car. I'm all about horsepower, man.
Yeah.
Horsepower to dollar for me. Like,
Yeah.
It ain't fast, I ain't playing.
That's it.
So, okay. I like that. Any regrets in life?
Yes. The regrets that I have in life are the times that I lied when I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Some lies you have to. But the times that I lied when it was unnecessary, maybe because I felt ashamed or I was worried about the outcome of the truth, I hate that. I hate that about myself.
It's probably
That
the best response I've gotten.
I wasn't brave enough to be honest and real and raw. And when I was going through most of the mental and physical and emotional traumas that I used to smile through, the truth would have led me to this place a lot sooner.
Nice. And any message you want to leave for anyone?
In your life, to get the things that you are striving for and dreaming for, you have to have a very clear intention of what you're trying to accomplish. For me, it was really making my first million. I wanted to make my first money with my brain and the education that I've worked hard to accumulate. Remember those who helped you along your path, because nobody is self-made. Nobody did it alone. So if you recognize that there are other people in this world who you've needed and who still need you, you will always find the resources to move forward, to be the guiding force in your life that leads you towards the things that you might consider coincidence, serendipitous. Think of those serendipitous moments as the clues or the hints or the whispers from whatever you believe in, whether it's God, Christ, a higher being, the universe, whatever you believe in, is giving you a clear sign that you're on the right track, you're on the right path. And even you listening to this today is a symbol that our journeys, our destinies are supposed to be connected. I'm Coach Jay Walk, and I'm out.